There we go.
All right. Well, we are live here on the Beer Bet podcast. I'm shutting my door, a little unprofessional, but today we actually have someone new to the podcast. It's Brady Wood. Brady, how are you doing today?
Doing great. How are you?
Doing all right. I mean, getting back from that remote today was fun. Seeing D-Mac and all the other guys racing on mowers was a fun time.
I've never
But
been
we
to
have a good show.
Ray County before.
No, I've never either, and I live like right over by here. So yeah, it was an interesting thing to see. But yeah, we got some good things to talk about today. We got some all-star stuff to go over, and then we also have Tigers kind of being on and off lately. But we can get right into it. Phone just turned off, so that's awesome. So with the no-hitter that happened, I mean, what a great way to kind of have a comeback for Riley Green. He came back, first game back, first combined no-hitter in Tigers history. I mean, Brady, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, so I started watching in the third because I was getting updates. Great start by Manning. I mean, we needed that. He needed that. I think everyone on the team needed that, especially with all the pitchers being hurt. I was initially a little upset at Hinch for taking him out, but after I thought about it, it was like realizing that this team is so unfortunate when it comes to injuries, whether it's hitters, but especially pitchers, that it was probably the best move for the team. And obviously it was because it worked. They got the no-hitter.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that was a general consensus of that when Hinch took out Manning while knowing that he had no hits while he was out there. I mean, I think it was. I mean, I understand being frustrated, but it clearly worked out in our favor. But
Right.
I think that series was kind of just a mess, if we're being honest. You get blown out game one, you get a combined no-hitter game two, and then you practically get blown out again against the Toronto Blue Jays. And I don't know, do you think this team, I talked to John all the time about this. Do you think this team has a chance to even compete for the division?
Yeah. I think our division's so bad that they actually do. Especially like we were saying with Riley. I definitely think they have a chance to compete in the division. Who's leading it right now? It's Twins,
It's
right?
the Cleveland Guardians
Cleveland
just took over, yeah.
Okay. So like I think we can compete. I don't necessarily think we could win it, but I definitely think we could be top two for sure. And then going into next year, we'll see what we can do. Hopefully actually compete next year.
Yeah, I mean, and this is like my famous words on the podcast, bad teams benefit from bad divisions. So we're fortunately benefiting from that situation, and that I mean, you got a mediocre team in the Minnesota Twins, you got a mediocre team in the Cleveland Guardians, and if we're being honest, Cleveland Guardians have kind of disappointed this season to a point where you're like, where you got all these top tier talents, and then you're just like constantly, oh hey dog, my dog just walked in. But I mean, you got all this top tier talent, and then you just do nothing. I kind of see the Cleveland Guardians having a similar season right now as the New York Mets, minus how much money they've spent.
Right. Yeah, I can totally see that too. And I think the Twins are probably going to pull this one out in the division, but yeah, like you said, I don't think the Cleveland Guardians, are going to be able to last. Just like us. I think eventually it's just going to be fizzled out.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, we were talking about this on Armani and Edwards. The worst team, I believe, in the AL East, which is the Boston Red Sox, would be the first place team in our division, which is like 48 and 45. They'd be like 3 games above the Guardians right now. So it's like
that division sucks, or that would suck to be in that division. That's for sure.
Where Boston is?
The AL East, yeah.
Yeah, that's a very tough division to be in. I mean, you got the Yankees, Blue Jays, I'm missing
Orioles.
Orioles, yeah. Orioles, great so far this season. Adley Rushman, great. Gunnar Henderson, one of the top rookies in this class. I mean, they're just. I mean, Cedric Mullins, also like probably their franchise guy.
Aaron
I
Hicks
think
is playing great for him too.
yeah, and I mean it's just tough when you see those teams and you're like, oh, we could 100% be doing better if we were just like, oh, maybe in the Central. And I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
it sucks to suck, but we also suck. So, I mean, I can get it. But, yeah, I mean, not a lot of things really happening with the Tigers so far. But, I mean, Riley Green's back. Bo Brisky, I believe, is coming back soon. I mean, Riley Green, we were talking about this last episode. Do you think if Riley Green had been healthy, he would have been an all-star for the Tigers?
100%. He's hitting 305 right now. He's an on base percent, or his OBS is like almost 900. That's like 200
Jeez.
over the league average. So like, I mean, he missed May 30th. He went out, missed like a whole month. So however many at bats that is, I don't think that affects him that much. He's such a good like approach at the plate that I think his 300 is gonna be where he's at for his whole career. To be honest with you,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big fan of Riley Green.
Yeah, I loved him ever since last year. I remember because I worked for the Tigers last year. I was a security guard, and I was sitting out in the outfield, like right by the stands. And the first game that Riley Green came, or it was the first, was working the first game he hit a home run, and it was the walk off. It was the
Mm,
back-to-back hit home runs with Victor Reyes and then
yep.
Riley Green. And I just remember hearing the crack of the bat, and it just went probably silent for 2 seconds. And you just hear all out there. And I mean, this dude is just special. I think Torkelson, when Riley Green is here, is a lot better. I mean,
You can
even
just
with him,
see it.
yeah. And the whole team is better with Riley Green. I think I believe there's a statistic right now that the team is like 5 extra wins or something that when Riley Green is on the team compared to when they're off. So I mean, we even saw that, especially like this past month.
Yeah, for sure. And like he's such a good two-hole hitter. If we can, he's hitting 300 behind who McKinstry. And I'm not bashing McKinstry, but if we can get him like an actual leadoff hitter who gets on base and who can get to second or third when he's up, he's going to just be able to produce that much more. I think it's going to be great for our team.
Another thing that is actually breaking right now, Jake Marisnick is now on waivers. The Dodgers are
Oh,
currently looking to sign former Detroit Tiger Jake Marisnick to their team. I really don't want to see Jake Marisnick go to the Dodgers because last time we sent someone to the Dodgers, aka Trace Thompson, they became really good. So
yeah.
I don't know,
Not
but
a lot of
that's
fans were
definitely
upset about Marisnik leaving.
really. He wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, what was he? I mean, what was he doing this year? Let's look. And he wasn't obviously great. That's the thing. Last 5 games. Then we'll go down to Detroit. 69 at bats, 16 hits on the season. His batting average was 232. I mean, it's below. I
Yeah.
mean,
I mean,
it's definitely not the worst on the Tigers. His OPS is .6 or his 691. He hit 2 home runs. He wasn't
yeah.
really anything special. So I don't.
Right.
It's not that big of a deal in my opinion. But I definitely can see. He was definitely a fan favorite. I feel like.
Hmm.
So
For sure.
I'm not upset.
But I mean, yeah, like I know Hinch likes to play around with the lineup and a lot, but
Hmm.
Green's usually second, third, and if he can have someone besides like McKinstry and Zach Short hitting in front of him, we can have a potentially dangerous lineup with or is it Colt Keith? Colt Keith coming
Colt
up.
Keith, yeah, he's gonna be good. And
We
then
could have
when I in a
oh, I'm gonna say it's gonna be like we need a one, and it's gonna be Green at two, maybe Colt Keith three, Torque four, something like that in the lineup. And eventually, hopefully, with the new Max Clark, hopefully he can come up pretty soon, get in the minors, and show his potential early, so that we can get a good idea of how good of a player he can be.
Yeah, and I mean, even when Max Clark comes up, I mean, that's someone that's also another thing that did happen. We drafted Max Clark third
Third,
overall, and I mean, high school kid. Um, I know a lot of people know him because of TikTok and YouTube,
yeah,
but I know for sure that I mean, even we posted. I mean, put a post up on TikTok that I mean, this kid is huge. I didn't realize this, and the
massive.
video I posted, it 500,000 views, and it was like I didn't realize Max Clark was very popular amongst people, and I mean, I don't really do my research when it comes to the draft for the MLB because you don't see
Right,
these dudes 3 years later down the line, but Max Clark might be I mean, he's popular, he'll sell tickets is what it's looking like to me.
right. No, and I think so. Like, I played college baseball, and when he just started getting onto the scene, like probably my junior year or something like that. I followed him a lot, and he's just progressively gotten bigger. He's progressed like with his following, he's progressively gotten bigger physically and stronger and faster. I think he could, in a couple years' time, fill in that leadoff spot, maybe bump Green to left because I think this dude is so raw. I think saw he throws like 98, 99 from the outfield. He's also a pitcher too, so I don't think they're gonna let him do that. But he's got a gun and he's fast. So I think him and center, Riley and left, 1 and 2, future. That could be a good future right there.
Yeah, and I mean, I remember a lot of comments were saying, how can it the teamwork between Riley Green and Max Clark might be something that we're really overlooking. Like, I think these two are young guys that are going to give it their all no matter what. I mean, Max Clark, we were discussing this at work that
Mm-hmm.
this dude swings for the fences. Not like Javi Baez, but he has way more plate discipline. I mean, his vision is way better. I mean, how many good prospects come out of the high school? I mean, I think the only couple of ones, only one that really comes to mind is Mike Trout. I
Harper,
can't really,
but he kind of went
yeah,
to.
Bryce Harper. Didn't he go to JUCO though?
He did go to JUCO. He did go to JUCO. So I guess that's not a high school, but a lot of people are saying like Max Clark's comp is Bryce Harper, like, and
Yeah, I've seen that.
that's a big step up because I was in the boat, I guess, like let's take Wyatt Langford from Florida, but I guess if we're not in the position, the Tigers aren't in the position of like we're gonna win this year or next year, let's grab the top ranked high school player. This guy would have been one this year and next year, especially if Skeens and Cruz, like he was consensus #1 player in high school, and I think, and he's been that for a couple years, and I think we snagged him at a good price, saved some money, and was able to sign his actual teammate for the USA team, and like for our last 32nd or 30 whatever pick we had, who's a shortstop who apparently has like the best hand-eye coordination out of high schoolers, like by some analyst or whatever. His bat to ball skills are like insane. So they drafted all high school. They drafted young, proof that they can develop their players, or that they think that they can develop them into something good. And that's a good sign to see.
Yeah, and I mean, Max Clark, I think with the Bryce Harper connection, I've heard a lot of people not just play wise, I've heard attitude wise, he's been very like known to be a little similar.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's true or not. I just know him from a couple videos that I've seen on YouTube. But I mean, do you have anything else on Max Clark?
Did you watch that YouTube video? There's like
Yeah, where it was like there's this one dude that went around and basically just showed his life throughout like a couple weeks, and like it was interesting to see his like connection. I mean,
it was Disarm YouTube,
yeah,
and he like they followed him for like 3 months leading up to the draft, including the draft, and like how he prepares like the final his final high school at bats and stuff like that. And he seems like a great kid.
Yeah, I mean, I
Like a
think
fantastic kid.
the kid's gonna be like, he just seems attitude wise is gonna be, he wants to win. I think
He
that's
wants
the
to
biggest
win.
plus of him.
He's got the eye black, he's got the dripped out stuff, like, and that's the new age. And no one's gonna fight it. No, I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it. I absolutely love it. If you can play and bring that at the same time, I'll give it all to me for sure.
So moving on to kind of our MLB section of the show. We're gonna start with the home run derby and all the fun stuff that happened with that. I think there's way more to talk about there than the Tigers right now. But just starting off, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. winning it. I mean, first father son duo to win it. I remember telling a lot of people. I remember telling Braylon Edwards that he was going to be kind of like the dark, like, watch out for him. He could win
Mm-hmm.
this. He wins. My bet was Mookie Betts because I was rooting for the small guy. He didn't win by a long mile. But I mean, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. just finally winning it. What is that?
Yeah.
What do you see in that?
I mean, he's obviously got great genes with his dad. Um, he's massive. He knows how to hit home runs. Like, I just think he's going to be special, especially when he grows. But the amount of power he has in his body is insane. And I think he was like the third, maybe fourth best odds to win it. So it was cool seeing him and Randy, whose odds were like plus 1100, go at it in the finals. I think that was a cool thing to see.
Yeah, and Randy Arozarena also kind of like one of those guys I wasn't too sure about how they do in the home run derby. I think a lot of us wanted Julio Rodriguez to go all the way. I
Hmm.
think he was the consensus. Oh, let's get this guy. I mean, it was the home team.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, that's even another topic we're going to talk about. Him hitting 41 first round probably could have weaned off. I mean, it doesn't help that you're going up against Pete Alonso,
Right.
but I feel like this home run derby was one of the more fun ones. There was a lot of things happening that not a lot of that haven't really happened before. So I think it
Hmm.
was definitely one of the more entertaining ones I've watched.
No, for sure. Um, J Rod hitting 41, crazy. It just shows to like how much stamina and how much power he has, just being able to just, I mean, what do they get? 3 minutes?
Yeah, they get 3 minutes, and if you hit 440 twice, you get that extra minute, and then you always get the 30-second bonus.
Like they do like the slow motions of like their swings, and it's like barely putting any effort into it, but there's so much power and stamina behind him that he can hit 41 in 3 minutes. It's just wild. I personally like the old way with 10 outs, like being able to admire the actual home runs that they were hitting. Um, I obviously love the home run derby no matter what, but I just used to like seeing them disappear into the night and everything like that, opposed to like getting a side by side view of barely seeing a home run go out. But nonetheless, it was cool. It was awesome. Of course, Vlad won it. I mean, he was in the finals a couple years ago, maybe last year
Yeah, he was. I can't remember if it was against Pete Alonso. I think it was. Oh, he lost to Pete Alonso. That's what it was. Last year,
for
Juan
sure.
Soto won. I think
Yep.
against Pete Alonso. But I don't know. I think it was due for him to win something like that. I mean, he's been known to be one of the big power hitters in the league. So I would have been really surprised if one day he didn't win.
Right.
But I mean, even moving off Vlad, Adley Rushman switch hitting, that was impressive. That was
Super
extremely
impressive.
impressive. And then he doesn't even just switch hit; he goes 7 for 8 on the opposite side.
Yep.
I mean, I know
I think
that was going viral all over social media when that happened. I posted it. I know a lot the MLB posted it. It's
yeah.
what do you think people are going to become more creative like that when it comes to the home run derby in the future?
Yeah, I think for sure. I think like it used to be I don't know if I want to say that, but like I feel like it used to be more like competitive. Like the guys were actually trying to do that, but like now it's more of a show. It's for everyone else. So like I think I could definitely see it. Like you're telling me you couldn't see Ella De La Cruz in a couple years do that,
Yeah,
and
I
like
totally.
yeah, like or even doing something even crazy or something like that. And I just love that. Like I love when dads throw to their kids. It's just super cool to me, no matter what. Even if they don't win, it's just super cool that they get a chance to do that, and that the dad's actually pretty good and doesn't like screw them up. Because that I know my dad would probably screw it up, but nevertheless, super cool that he did that. And you're right, I definitely think it'll be more creative in the future with some
Yeah,
guys.
and I was totally I was talking to my dad about it and he's like, "Dude, I'd be crapping myself. Like this is I can't I wouldn't be able to do it."
Yeah,
And I totally get it. I've stood on an MLB field once with nobody around and I you can feel the pressure regardless. So I can't imagine how Adley's dad was feeling at that moment. Um I mean, even talking about creativity, I think a good comparison to like all-star games in sports would be kind of like the slam dunk contest and the home run derby. Do you think things will happen more starting to become like the slam dunk contest where they start bringing in mascots, they start doing all this other stuff make it I mean, we said it would become more creative like that, but do we think they're going to start I guess serializing it is the best word to say?
I hope not. I guess because I mean, slam dunk contest used to be this massive thing, and now it's like whatever. But I mean, I can see them changing. I mean, especially after this year, changing kids out of the outfield, maybe doing something creative that way. But I don't know if the MLB is going to do much. I think maybe the players will change some things that they do and ways that they hit and stuff like that.
All right. So moving on to our next topic in MLB. Uh I didn't write this down, but it's the fact that we're having a series in Seoul, Korea. Uh, the San Diego Padres and the, I believe, Los Angeles Dodgers will be playing in Seoul next year, March. Let me look at the date. I think it's March 24th. Yeah, March 20th and 21st of 2024. Um, that's interesting. I think that's huge. I think that's huge for the MLB. Expanding that horizon of the sport to a more grander audience is going to
Right.
be huge. I mean, viewership of the MLB is not super huge. Internationally, it's huge. And I think internationally, baseball is the second most watched sport next
Right.
to
You said they're going to
soccer.
Korea?
Yeah,
Yeah, I just looked at the South baseball is like South Korea's like biggest sport.
thing.
Yeah,
It's like that
biggest
in
sport.
Japan.
Yeah.
Same thing in Japan. Um, but it's interesting to see that. I mean, we saw this with the NFL has been doing
Hmm.
something similar to this, but it's been more of Europe. So they've been doing Germany, uh, London. I think they don't do any more in
Yeah.
Europe. I think they do a Mexico City game.
Hmm.
Um, NBA does a Paris game every year. I think that kind of roots back to the iconic Michael Jordan game that they had in Paris. Uh, but to see more, I mean, we just had the London series this year with the MLB. Huge success. I think that was one of the most watched series of the entire season so far. Uh, do you see, because I know this has been a topic throughout sports, do you see the MLB starting to become more of an international league?
Yeah, and we can already see it right in front of us. I definitely do, 100%. You because you can see how popular it's getting with football. Like on Sunday, you can have football from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. when they're playing over. Is it London?
Yeah.
Yeah,
London,
when they're playing
Germany.
over. Yeah, and so it's like an all day event. People are excited. But I know I wake up at like 9, whatever, and I'm like, oh, cool. There's a game immediately on. So like, I definitely think that the MLB should and is going to capitalize on that.
And I mean, I know this has been a discussion with the NBA, but do you think they could start going more international with their teams? I believe that the NBA is planning on eventually expanding to Mexico City. Do you think we could eventually see maybe a London MLB team or a Mexico City baseball team?
Um,
Because we have Toronto. I mean, could we have
I
an
mean, yeah,
Edmonton team?
right. So that's a great point. I could definitely see them putting some like Mexico City or something like that, especially maybe not in London, but like Canada, us, Mexico. I think that's a good point. I think they could possibly do that. Maybe one or
If you
two teams.
if you could name your international, like what would you name your international MLB team? If you were
Oh
the owner,
gosh.
you had $10 billion in your pocket right now, and you just bought a expansion team in the MLB. Where would the location be, and then what would you name that team?
Oh, it'd have to be Mex. So even like anywhere
It can be anywhere. It
in
doesn't
the
have to be
US,
outside. It can be in the US as well.
in the US. Oh, it's Vegas, and I
Well, what
want
about
that to
Oakland?
happen.
If Oakland's planning on moving to Vegas,
Oh
that
yeah.
might be off the tables.
Okay, you're right. All right.
Unlike the
A lot
NBA,
of
you can't choose Seattle.
right. Nashville. I think me and my buddies have
And
talked about
Nashville
that.
will be
Like
fun.
Nashville would be sweet. What would we call a team in
It has to do
Nashville?
something with music, man.
Has to be.
The Titans and Pet Predators aren't music themed, but I mean,
But
there's
we could bring that to baseball
yeah.
for
I
sure.
mean, uh, I feel like there's a music team in every league. I'm pretty sure. Utah Jazz,
Yeah.
St. Louis Blues. I don't think there's an NFL one. No, but I don't know. Uh, the Nashville Honky Tonks.
Yeah, for sure. Something around there. But no, I think Nashville might be the next expansion team after Vegas. There's a huge Nashville Predator spot. And
Yeah,
just like the Vegas Golden Knights, like they were the only team in that city for a while, and everyone was diehard. And I think that's going to happen with baseball too. So I think Nashville would be sweet.
I think New Orleans would be something fun. You could call them like the New
Oh,
Orleans. When I was playing MLB The Show last year, I like did how you can like create your own jerseys and stuff like that. The New Orleans Frogs. That was
what
my
color?
team. Purple and green. It was awesome. But I feel like you can definitely do like the New Orleans Crawfish. Like,
For
you
sure,
can't do.
something like that.
Yeah. I don't know what would be another good one. But who I'm trying. But like, let's say, what if the A's rename themselves? Do you think they're going to stick with athletics, or do you think they're going to probably change to more of a Las Vegas-y type name?
They're definitely going to go with
You
some
you
Las
think the
Vegas
A's?
type.
You think the
Uh,
A's are done?
Las Vegas A's, like the Las Vegas. Oh, isn't there
Aces?
there's an
But
Aces
that's at
already? I think
WNBA. Yeah, that's
it's a sweet
WNBA.
name though. But they could definitely keep A's.
Gamblers.
They might. I was gonna say they're probably gonna make it something with gambling if they do
I
change it.
I've always been of the in favor of naming of Las Vegas team the Las Vegas Devils.
The Las Vegas Devils rolls off the tongue pretty nice.
Yeah, and I think that's what the Las Vegas NBA team is going to be called personally, but sticking with baseball, but I think Las Vegas Gamblers, that would be a fun team name.
The
Uh
Blackjacks,
that
maybe
would be cool. The Spades.
something like that. Yeah, I like that.
Uh, um I don't know. Even if you're thinking of Canada, I mean, the Montreal. It's hard. I don't know anything about Canada, so I couldn't.
Oh,
I
dude,
never.
I played summer ball up there for 3 months in Alberta, which is Edmonton,
Yeah.
but it was wild. There's it's smoky even back then, like 2 years ago, but it was crazy because we would go from, oh man, where were we? Let me check this real quick. Yeah, so we would go from like Edmonton to Calgary and then all the way over into like Saskatchewan, and it would be the same landscape, dry, nothing. So that's what I picture Canada as. And I know there's beautiful places like Banff, but as for a baseball team name, not too sure. Not too sure about that.
Canada's hard. I mean, the Blue Jays don't really. Are the Blue Jays like a Canadian bird? Is that why they named? Oh, they could bring back the Expos.
That would be sweet. Depending on
Montreal
if they have
Expos,
the
bring it
rights
back.
to it, if someone has the rights to it or not. But
Well, because I believe the Expos turned into the Nationals.
yes, you are correct.
So I don't know. I mean, maybe there's. Who knows? Who knows? I
Who
mean,
knows?
I feel like if you do bring back, like, I think that's kind of like a Seattle Sonics type situation. Bring back the Montreal Expos, bro.
Yeah, that would be sweet. Now that you say that, yeah, that'd be sweet.
So going into our last section of the show, we kind of talked about it a little bit. This kind of ties in with what we are currently talking about, just kind of new teams. But this is, what is your favorite logo in all of the MLB, and it can even be a minor league team logo.
Okay. So I'll give you my major league favorite and my minor league favorite. Major league, it's obviously the Old English D, but I'm biased, so we'll stick to the side of that. I love like the Diamondbacks rebranding and all that stuff, like the snake being the
The snake
D with
D.
like the head and everything like that. And for sure, one of my favorites because I was looking them up and basically all of them are just like block letters like LA, SF, like just like that. Ours is actually creative with the Old English D, but
Yeah.
that was the one that I could find that was like different. I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. And
Yeah, and
then
I think
go
that's
ahead.
part of like the whole like old school type thing that the MLB has going for them. I mean, you don't see a lot. I mean, there's always those few teams in sports where you can't change the logo, and I feel like the MLB is kind of stuck in their ways where you can't change the logo. I feel like there's a few teams that definitely could use a rework. The
Yeah.
Mets, I think, is one of them. Uh, I think the Rockies could definitely use an update. But continue what you're saying.
Um, what was I saying?
You were talking about how like the block lettering, and then you went into then you
Oh,
said
my
the.
minor league favorite.
Mhm.
Yep, my minor league favorite. So they're the Charleston River Dogs. I was scrolling through some pictures and I was like, man,
River Dogs.
yeah, but the dog that's biting a bat. I'm a huge dog guy, so I just think that one's cool. And I think they're the single A affiliate of the Rays, the Tampa Bay Rays. Yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
So my favorite logo in the entire MLB, it's the Baltimore Oriole. I have a soft spot with the Orioles in my heart. I don't know. It just reminds me of like old cartoons. That logo just reminds me of maybe Looney Tunes. That park is. I've never gone to Camden Yards, but that's like my dream park to go to. I think the side street next to the ballpark is one of the coolest features of any
Yeah,
ballpark. Um, I think the orange and brown. I'm gonna call it brown. Orange and black. I almost said the wrong team. The orange and black work so well together. I think the bird looks dope. Um, it's cool. I have two uh, minor league teams. The Sugarland Space Cowboys is the best logo in all of sports. You need to look this
Sugarland
up.
Space Cowboys.
the Sugarland Space Cowboys. It is the AA affiliate of the Houston Astros. It's just the coolest design I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, that is
And
so cool.
yeah, that is sick. And then it's the Trash Pandas. I can't remember it's the Rocket City Trash Pandas, I think it's what it's called. It's just a little raccoon in
Yeah,
a
Rocket
trash
City.
can. Yeah, I think those are sick. I think the Space Cowboy is so unique.
Hmm.
You don't really see a lot of stuff like that in sports. I'm trying to save up a couple extra dollars to get myself a Space Cowboys hat so I can just wear it around. Dope. I feel like the MILB has some of the most unique designs in all of sports.
Yep, they play into like the fan atmosphere and the young kids and everything like that, and I like it. I think it's cool.
Yeah, and I think MILB you don't have to. I mean the logos don't have to look uber professional. It's an amateur league, so you can have a little
Correct.
more fun with the graphic design on that. Um, Getting into our second to last topic of today. I got my notebook here. I have written down shoot, we actually missed something. We're gonna go back to the All-Star game real quick. So Elias Diaz named MVP, All-Star MVP, excuse me. Didn't really know a lot about this guy going into the game.
Hmm.
He seems to impress. Also, the National League wins it. The first time in, I believe, 12 years, the National League has won the All-Star game. History has been made. But what are your thoughts about Elias Diaz? Do you think him winning is good for baseball? Do you think it's bad for baseball?
I never really thought about that. Like you said, like I didn't really know him. I know it was his first All-Star game, so it's kind of cool that he won the MVP in his first All-Star game. But to your point, I'm not sure how the fans like that. If you get one at bat,
I
one
think
home
so.
run. Yeah.
I think so.
So I'm not sure if the fans would like to see the big name itself get the MVP or anything like that. Me personally, I kind of like it. I kind of like giving the guy who's deserving of it the MVP, and he clearly was. He hit a 2-run home run in the bottom of the eighth or top of the eighth to take the lead in the All Star game. So that's pretty much what I think about that. The All Star game. I'm 25 years old, and the NL has only won 4 times in that span, which is kind of wild. When it used like because it seems like when we were younger, it was for home field advantage, obviously, and Tigers were in the World Series, but they didn't have world or home field advantage. So that was kind of strange to me putting that back. But I think it was one of the times that the NL won that we did go play San Fran and get swept.
And I mean, I know a lot of people are like you mentioned. I mean, having the smaller guy, I mean, I think that gives him more notoriety.
Hmm.
Um, but realistically, that guy wouldn't have won it if, let's say, Aaron Judge or Mike Trout were not injured. Um, I just feel like
Right.
it's slightly bad for Major League Baseball, but like you said, it should always go to the guy that deserves it. But the Rockies are not a good team.
Right.
The Colorado Rockies are one of the most irrelevant teams in all of Major League Baseball, in my opinion. As of this season, they are not good. They have not been good
Hmm.
all season. Um, it's kind of a two-sided sword.
Right.
You're kind of like, oh, this guy, let's get this guy in the limelight. Maybe he can eventually be a superstar in the league. But you're kind of like, oh, nobody's gonna know who the hell this guy is at all.
Right.
And I I don't really have a lot of. I mean, like you said, statistically he did very well. But it's just the notoriety. It's just I don't.
Yeah.
I could care less about it.
It's definitely not what it used to be. Like, I mean, even like Trout's hurt, Judge is hurt. I mean, it seems like the only people that are in it are the NL, like Acuna, Arenado, Freeman, Mookie. Like, our lineup was or the American League lineup was like Otani and Randy and
I
four
actually got it.
Texas guys.
Yeah, I got it right here. So
Say it.
for the American League, Jonah Heim, Yandy Diaz, Marcus Semien, Josh Young, Corey Seager, Randy Rosarena, Shohei Otani. I can't. I only have the starters written down, but I believe
Hmm.
shit. Who I'm thinking of someone from the Rangers that I'm just complete. Adolis Garcia, another All-Star. I don't know. And then you got the National League. I mean, it's really both these teams are majorly like consisted of the same team. I mean, for the American League, Rangers had the most.
Hmm.
In the National League, you had the Braves have the most out of. I think the Braves had the most All Stars out of the entire MLB. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong on that, but I don't know. It's
Yeah, it's a weird
it's a tough
voting system
situation.
nowadays. Like everyone gets a person on the All-Star roster, which I don't agree with. Like, I don't know. I wish the
You
All-Star game was better like it used to be. They barely even promoted it. Like, it needs to
yeah.
be a little bit better
And
next
speaking
year.
about promotion, I believe it was the lowest rated or All-Star game for the MLB in forever. I think we mentioned that the marketing for it was just not good. I mean, no one
Yeah.
I don't think any I think it has a lot to do with the writer strike right now. Cuz we don't got writers to help write the scripts for these advertisements. And the SBs also suffered from it.
Yep.
Uh, but we can go on and say that I didn't watch this. I mean, people don't want weren't gonna watch most people weren't gonna watch the MLB All Star Game, period, because people don't really care about baseball, unfortunately. But uh, but this season, however, I believe has been one of the most viewed seasons for the MLB in a couple years. Just I think
Yeah.
just
With the
based on the
new,
pitch clock.
I was gonna say with the new implementations, I think a lot of people are liking it. A lot of people, it actually worked. Like people who don't like baseball go to baseball games and they're like, "Oh, I had a great time. It was only 2 hours, 15 minutes. I was like that the game was going on." And it's like, I get that. I get that for them, but like, I know, I don't know about you, but like me, I like to just go and just hang out at the game. It doesn't really matter how long the game takes. Um, I don't know. How about you?
I'm usually super like no matter what sport I'm attending, I'm always like that person that's super invested in what's going on. Like I usually go for my birthday, so I go for the Tigers game and I don't pay attention to really anything else but the game.
Hmm.
And I think I might just be like one of those unique people, but I don't know. I've never but like going to what you were saying, I've never really cared. I think that's just because I'm a baseball fan, but I think I'm glad this is happening and all these changes are happening because I want more people to enjoy the sport I like.
No, for sure. And I think, especially at Woodward, we need Tigers to be good so that people start getting invested in
Mhm.
baseball and the Tigers and just liking it again. Because we were good, you you could sell out Comerica and it was so loud. It was such a great time to be a Tiger fan back then. Need it
So
back.
going into our second to last topic, I have uh, top rookies of this year. I have I believe one, two, three, four, seven names written down, and I want you to name if there was a rookie of the year of the rookie of the year. I didn't name one of them because I didn't have this guy written down, and it's the Boston Red Sox rookie. It's
Oh, the Japanese guy.
yeah, I forgot what his name was. It's
Um,
like Makasaku or something like that. I don't want to butcher his name.
Masataka Yoshida.
Masataka Yoshida. So he's been really good. I don't have his stats written down, unfortunately, but I'm going to name the 7 guys and their stats. I'm going to start from the top. Corbin Carroll, Diamondbacks, uh, recently an all-star starter. So 295 at bats, 61 runs, 86 hits, 46 RBIs, 66 walks, 18 home runs, 24 stolen bases, and a batting average of 292. Ellie De La Cruz, I think even with him starting a little bit later than a lot of people, I think he has every right to be a rookie of the year candidate. I think it's ridiculous if you don't even put him in that conversation. With 110 at bats, 25 runs, 35 hits, 14 RBIs, 7 walks, 4 home runs. I believe it's 7 home runs at this point, 11
Mhm.
stolen bases, a batting average of 318. And he was called up June 6th. So I think that I believe it's been just over a month that this guy has been in, and he is already half of what Corbin Carroll's done. Josh Young, 332 at bats, 58 runs, 90 hits, 51 RBIs, 22 walks, 17 home runs, 1 stolen base, and a batting average of 271. He's from the Rangers.
Mhm.
Gunnar Henderson from the Orioles, 249 at bats, 39 runs, 59 hits, 30 runs batted in, 34 walks, 11 home runs, 5 stolen bases, and a batting average of 237. You got Hunter Brown from the Astros. That's one of my honorable mentions. He's a pitcher. 91 innings pitched, 103 strikeouts, and a ERA of 3.76.
He went
Bryce
to
Miller.
Lakeview High School in Michigan.
Really? He's a Michigander?
Yep, he went to Wayne State. One of my buddies went to high school with him. He's
He's a Wayne
he,
State guy and he made it to MLB?
yeah, he
That's
was a
impressive.
stud. Yeah,
That's impressive. Must have just not probably had the grades to go D1. That's
maybe
probably
he was. Yeah, maybe
that's
that, or maybe he was small because he's big now.
fair.
Yeah, he
I
went
mean,
to Wayne
that's you.
State. Yeah,
That's
Four,
impressive.
14-3 record. Good for
Uh,
him.
yeah, I did not know that about him. Bryce Miller, Mariners, 25 innings pitched, 1.42 ERA, and a strikeout percentage of 25%. And then last one, it's another it's another Oriole and it's another pitcher, 23.2 innings pitched, an ERA of 0.38, a strikeout percentage of 35, and he has had 0 walks.
Dang, that's
So
crazy.
out of that, I mean, you don't. If I have anybody else that you would like to mention, go for it. But I mean, out of all the pitchers, it's definitely uh Yenier Cano from the Orioles, the last guy I mentioned. I mean, you have a point. I don't think I think it's just the fact that he's had way less innings pitched than Hunter
Hmm.
Brown. I believe he's also not start. He doesn't start a lot,
Hunter
so
Brown's a starter for sure in the
yeah.
rotation all year.
So I mean, I feel like out of the pitchers, it's going to be Hunter Brown, but I think Yenier Cano is very impressive with a .38 and a 35 strikeout percentage.
Yeah,
And then I mean, you can't mention the rookie. Like I said, you can't mention the rookie of the year without mentioning the 3 guys: Corbin Carroll, Ellie De La Cruz, or Josh Young.
yeah. So it's very impressive what Ella De La Cruz is doing. His numbers are crazy. I actually saw him in person. My girlfriend's from DC, so we went when they played the Reds.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he flies. He's huge. But I would give it to Corbin. Corbin Carroll. He's so good. And
You'd give
like you
it to
said,
Corbin Carroll, even though Ellie De La Cruz hit a cycle for the first time since 1928.
he's just got so many little at bats. Like it could wear off over time. Who knows? But we saw Corbin Carroll play and he tore us apart.
Yeah,
The Tigers. I just think his on base plus slugging, which in my opinion is one of the best stats like to go by. It's basically, I don't know, how would you describe the on base plus slugging?
I mean,
It's it's
on base is just how many times you're on base.
yeah, plus it's basically how many times you're on base plus how many times you hit doubles and get on base. So it's a great stat, and his is 200 points higher than the league average as a rookie. And
That's impressive. And I think that goes to show like why he was an all-star starter.
all-star starter. So I think him and Ella De La Cruz will duke it out. And probably he's going to go to Ella De La Cruz because he's so flashy and he's hit a cycle. He stole second, third, and home in 2
He's had a
pitches.
stealing cycle too.
It doesn't make any sense what he's doing. But how about
I
you?
guess my only concern with Ellie De La Cruz, do you think he's going to have a similar situation to O'Neal Cruz? Because I haven't heard anything about that guy this year.
Haven't heard.
He was the big. He was the Ellie De La Cruz of last year. Fastest arm. I mean, I think he threw from third base he's a shortstop. He threw from where he was to first base at 95 miles an hour.
Yeah, he's hitting 250 right now. He's only had 32 at bats in the year 2023, 9 games played, 8 hits.
So I think something's going on. I don't know, but I remember he was like the fad last year. Like everybody's like, "Oh, this is the next guy," but now we're going on to Ellie De La Cruz. Apparently, Ellie De La Cruz is the next guy. I mean, do you think there's a chance where we're going to see this consistently happen?
Maybe. They're so young. They're like 20, right? 20, maybe 21. They're gonna have to learn the hard way. It's not always gonna be like peaches and creams and all that stuff. No matter like I have 2 teammates right now. They're on the brink of like going in the MLB or like in AAA, and one actually got an at bat in the MLB against Emmanuel Clase.
Oh,
And
jeez.
yeah, he struck him out on 3 pitches. But he just said like it's the difference in major league pitching and to even AAA pitching is just levels. It's these guys in AAA either throw hard or they know how to command. And all pitchers in the MLB can spot it wherever they want at whatever speed they want. And yeah, stuff like that.
So last section of the day, it's everybody's favorite, the beer review. I don't know if you brought one, but I did. I have a Coors Light. You got your Blue Moon, so I'm gonna let you do a little review real quick, and then you got to score 1 to 10. I've reviewed 2 beers so far on the show because we've had 2 episodes. First episode I did Busch Light. It was a 6 out of 10 in my opinion, and then Michelob Ultra was a 7.5. Maybe Coors Light will be higher, maybe it'll be lower, but you got Blue Moon, and we'll see how it is.
Yeah, no. So like when I was back in college, I didn't really like beer that much. I just drank like vodka and all that stuff. But this was like the first beer that like got me into beer because I would say it's got a little bit of beer taste, but it tastes like oranges. It's like fruity. I don't know. What else do you talk about in your reviews?
I don't know. Just like describe. I mean, is it? I mean, Busch Light tastes like water. That's usually what I mean, you said it tastes like fruity, but like
it tastes like watered down orange juice.
That's the best way you describe it. Mm-hmm. Would you? And that's like one of the only beers you have taste, right? Or drink. Why did I say taste? But same thing.
So, yeah, it's like the only one I can drink for fun.
So if you were to rate it right now, what would you rate it?
Oh, so I'm not a huge beer guy, but I would rate it. You gave Coors a 7.5.
I gave Michelob Ultra a 7.5.
Michelob Ultra 7.5. I would give Blue Moon around 8.5.
All right. Yeah. Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I've not tried Blue Moon, and I will definitely eventually go down that road.
Try it.
I will. That's the whole experiment of the show. I'm gonna try every beer. Maybe have a huge beer belly by the end of it. But Today I have Coors Light. Coors Light, it's the Silver Bullet. This is another one I usually drink on a golf course. It's a staple of college parties. It's not very expensive. It's something that I can just pick up, drink, and I can eat a steak with it. I can drink it with a burger, some fries and stuff like that. I mean, Coors Light, very easy to get down. It's light beer. It's not a heavy beer like a Guinness or anything like that. I mean, what's the alcohol percentage? 4.2, so it's a little less than Michelob Ultra. But I mean, that's like the smoothest beer that goes down for me. So I'm gonna have to actually give it probably an 8.5. And I think this is easily one of my favorites. But yeah, but Brady,
I also didn't mention 5.4% alcohol on the Blue Moons.
Oh, so you're going to turn off one is what I'm hearing.
I guess.
But Brady, thank you so much. I appreciate you filling in for John. Hopefully I can get you on here another time with John and we can just shoot the shit about some more baseball.
Yeah.
Hopefully the Tigers are doing a little bit better the next time you are on. I'll be seeing you at Disco. Shout out to Brady. He's the what's exactly your position at Woodward Sports?
Account executive. I handle all the companies that want to advertise or market with us. So if you want to do that, give me a call or an email. Email would be better. BradyWood@woodwardsports.com.
Yeah, Brady's the reason we have at Woodward all the Dispo sponsorship, 5-Iron Golf, outdoor equipment company. Yeah,
that's Monty.
Yeah, I know
that's Monty.
Outdoors Monty. Okay, Monty was outdoor equipment, but Brady does a great job doing a lot for Woodward Sports. I always see him, one of the most friendly people at the place. But again, thank you, Brady. Appreciate your time, and everybody have a good day and be sure to keep on drinking.
Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it. See you tomorrow.